Welcome back to a brand new Max Talks box office here on Max Talks Movies. And today I am talking about the first box office weekend in the month of July here in 2025, which is July 4th weekend, July 4th to the 6th, 2025, breaking down the domestic and worldwide numbers for the year and previewing the big and important movie that is hitting theaters to the box office this upcoming weekend. Also going to preview my upcoming videos on the channel throughout the week. So my name is Max. Welcome back to Max Talks Movies here. If you're new, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. I would love to be at around 400 subscribers by the end of July. So guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. I do this show every single Monday. I also do movie, TV show reviews, out-of-theater reactions, and movie franchise rankings, tons of new videos. I'm going to be really committing to the channel. So basically every single day for the mostly you should be getting a new video here on the channel. So please consider subscribing and ringing that bell. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on the box office? What are your predictions for the big movie coming out this weekend's opening box office? What did you see in theaters this weekend? What are your movie theater plans for this week? Let me know. I respond to all comments. And also, guys, please hit the thumbs up button. So let's get into the domestic numbers so far from July 4th to July 6th. Now, technically, it's a 5-day weekend, but as I do in the box office, I'll cover the 3-day and then talk about the 5-day as a whole. So starting at number one for, of course, this weekend was Jurassic World Rebirth, which opened to $92 million for the 3-day. But again, the movie came out on Wednesday. So for the 5-day for Rebirth, it opened to 147.8, which is one of the best July 4th weekend, third best all time, I believe, for the July 4th weekend movie. So that's very good news. This franchise from Universal continues to make bank. Now, again, this movie did cost $180 million. Again, that's before advertising. So usually this movie probably needs to hit around $450 million to break even at the box office. It's already over 300 so far in its 5 days. So it looks like more money. Now the question is, with such a packed box office, will Rebirth end the streak of the last Jurassic World trilogy? Each of those movies made $1 billion, 2015, 2018, and 2022. So the question is, with Rebirth, with Superman and Fantastic Four hitting theaters, can Rebirth power its way to 700 million more at the box office? Now, the audience scores are horrifically bad for Rebirth. Second worst audience scores of the franchise. So the question is, the word of mouth is not good for this movie, either critic-wise or audience-wise. So the question now, that has not been a problem for the Jurassic franchise, as Fallen Kingdom and Dominion were widely panned movies by both audiences and critics. But both movies got to $1 billion. Now, again, didn't have this type of competition coming up. But with this movie not doing so well audience reception-wise, will a movie, if Superman does get good reviews, will that make people skip Rebirth and go see Superman instead? The second weekend drop will be fascinating for Rebirth. So definitely we'll keep track on that. But overall, it's a win for really everyone involved. This franchise is very much alive. So I expect to see another film in this franchise getting announced very soon. F1 was the other movie that was key to keep track of in the second weekend. It dropped 55%. Not a bad drop, not a good drop either, kind of a mediocre drop for F1. It made 25.7 up to 109 domestic. But again, its budget, this movie needs to make a lot more. And while it kept its IMAX screens this weekend, IMAX and Dolby screens are, and Prime, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, are all exclusively going to Superman this weekend. So F1's big part of its marketing and for people to see the movie was its the IMAX, the Dolby, the Prime showings of that film. But the fact that it's going to regular screens, I think this movie could take even a bigger drop in its third weekend when it's going up against not just one, but two monster blockbusters. But again, Apple has been, from a theatrical perspective, an embarrassing film studio with 4 or 5 movies that they've released that have all done such poorly in theaters. If it's Killers of the Flower Moon or Napoleon or Argyle. Flight of the Moon wasn't a bomb, but it also wasn't a big hit either. They just had some big swings and misses at the box office, giving $200 million budgets to those type of movies. Now, this movie also has a reported around $200, $300 million budget, so we'll average that to $250. it's not really going to break even here, but it's also not going to be a monster flop like their other films. So I think for Apple, they will take this as a victory. How to Train Your Dragon is in its it's in third place for its fourth weekend, dropping another 43, 11.2 million, 224 domestic. This will turn out to be one of the more successful How to Train Your Dragon films domestically, but as it pertains to its worldwide numbers, it's just going to keep on the track of the other animated films, which I don't think Universal was quite expecting. In fourth place is Elio from Disney and Pixar. In its third weekend, it dropped another 45%, 5.7 million, 55 million domestic. Elio just did not find its audience. Hollywood Reporter had a major report on the behind the scenes of things they took out of this movie. And it just seems like Pixar is lost at the top of the food chain at that film studio. We've heard a lot of weird stories about people taking out particular plot points. It pertains to LGBTQ, things of that nature in their last couple movies. And Elio also didn't help that it released again the same time as Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. Bad release date. It didn't seem like Disney or Pixar totally believed in this movie either. And it's sad because I don't think this is a great or one of the top Pixar movies. It's a very sweet movie that is worth of a price of admission going to the theater to see this. But Elio just did not find its audience. It had the worst opening weekend in the history of Pixar. And I think a lot of us who like the movie were hoping it could have Elemental-like legs, where Elemental didn't even open to 30 million, but got to 500 worldwide. But Elio did not get that success. So Elio is going to fall very fast from this list. Wrapping the top 5 is 28 Years Later from Sony. It dropped another 53% in its third weekend, 4.5 million, 60 million domestic, and this is just not a big success for Sony. The Bone Temple comes out in January. We'll see if a more wide open release schedule could help that movie maybe get Danny Boyle's third 28 Years Later movie, but unknown. Also to know, not in this top 5, but Megan 2 in just its second weekend took a 61% drop and is out of the top 5. Very shocking for that franchise as well. Let's move on to the domestic numbers so far this year. Minecraft is still number 1 with 423 million. Lilo and Stitch right behind it with 408 million. Sinners is at 3 of 278. How to Train Your Dragon at 4. You can see the numbers now, so I don't have to completely read those off. But Captain America Brave New World at 5. Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning at 6. Thunderbolts at 7. Just in its opening 5 days, Jurassic World's 147 gets it to number 8. Final Destination Bloodlines is at 9, and F1 is at number 10. So with that top 10, those are the 10 $100 million domestic movies so far this year. I assume we're going to add another one very soon. Looking at the worldwide numbers, a Chinese film, again, is 1. Lilo and Stitch did pass Minecraft to be the biggest US-based movie of the year worldwide. It got up to 972 million worldwide. So it is now $28 million away from $1 billion. I don't think it will get there, but the fact that it did pass Minecraft is a good thing for Disney. Minecraft's at 3 with 950 million, so only 50 million off of $1 billion. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning at 4. How to Train Your Dragons at 5. Captain America Brave New World's at 7. Thunderbolts 8. Sinners 9. And just in its opening 5-day weekend, Jurassic World Rebirth had a $322 million worldwide opening. 147 domestic, 174 international. Good numbers for Jurassic World Rebirth. Again, with low audience scores and fierce competition in this month, we will see if Jurassic can make it 4 straight movies in the franchise to get to $1 billion. It does seem unlikely with the competition, but again, we will see. So as I said, the fierce competition this weekend is DC Superman, which is one of the most highly anticipated box office coverage movies probably of the entire year. This is James Gunn's first movie in his new DCU, and it has been projected by a wide range of numbers, and officially it's landed on like a $90 million as its floor and $170 as its ceiling. That is an $80 million floor and ceiling difference here. So the question is, I do feel like, what are your guys' predictions for Superman? Because I don't know. what is going to happen this weekend with Superman. The review embargo, you'll get reviews and RT scores tomorrow on Tuesday. So it'll be interesting if this movie gets mixed reviews, very good reviews, very bad reviews. We shall see. DC, again, has struggled mightily at the box office in the last 25 years or so with their main universe of films. And again, Man of Steel, widely acclaimed movie, that did not get to $1 billion when it came out. And you have a lot of defenders of that movie who are against seeing this new version of Superman. You have no idea. I have no idea. This movie feels like, though, it's either going to do exceptionally well or it's going to be a flop. I don't think it'll be a flop. I think the movie will do, sorry, my opinion, I think it either will do good, which I think will disappoint a lot of people that it doesn't do great, or I think it'll do fantastic. I don't see a world this movie bombs or people are against seeing Superman, but I have no idea. Social media has been crazy. James Gunn has not stopped talking about this movie in more interviews. Hasn't really helped him that much. David Corenswet is not a known name, so we'll see where the Superman brand stands now in Hollywood. This is a fascinating box office weekend to watch. I am very excited to cover it next Monday. So next Monday, I'll be back with a new box office breakdown show. Tomorrow, you should get my review of The Old Guard 2, more likely. You're also getting my review of that new Idris Elba John Cena movie. Thursday, I am doing my review and at a theater reaction for Superman. If I can, Friday should be my spoiler review for Superman, depending on if that's the type of movie I want to do a spoiler review for. We will see. More videos are coming soon, guys, to the channel, so please subscribe, ring the bell, like the video, and I'll see you guys soon.